So we're off to see Simon Neesam today, and it looks as though we're stuck behind his hay delivery as we're going through the lanes of Suffolk. Hopefully we'll have a lovely time and have a look around the shed, and he's going to give me a little lesson in the Abyssinian cavy, I think, the finer details of it, which will be in a separate video. But yeah, sit back and enjoy. I've known Simon for many years, but our paths rarely crossed until we both started breeding Self Goldens, and we started meeting up a bit more regularly and contacting each other for advice, and Simon's helped me out with stock in the past. So it's very nice to come to a shed and see what's around. Simon's first ever guinea pig was an Abyssinian, and he continues to keep this breed today. The stud is currently over 100 cavies, which he says is just about manageable, balancing work and family life. Simon's kept quite a few breeds, Tortoiseshell and Whites being one of the more successful that he's had, and this is Patchy Trevor, which is won many best in shows at the National Tortoiseshell and White Cave Club stock shows. He's also been very active with his agoutis. This lemon agouti, Yeats, is what he considers to be his best ever cavy that he's bred, and it did very well at the Royal London Show 2010. As mentioned, Simon still keeps his Abyssinians. This is a Turo, which has done very well for him this year, and hopefully will continue to do so. Of course, he still keeps the pink-eyed golden. This is Fantin Latour, which was best in show at the English South Cave Club Youngstock Show in 2014. Simon's shed is quite spacious and airy, which is great for any stud. The cages are mesh-fronted, and each one has a lovely water bottle on, so it keeps the cavies hydrated. But the cavies have lots of space and lots of light, which is key when keeping cavies, and is a big attribute to being successful in the breeding and in the show bench. Simon works tirelessly for the fancy. He's the chairman of the NCC, he's the joint secretary of the Abbey Cavy Club, and he's also the Abyssinian rep and the website coordinator for the British Cavy Council, which is a big responsibility. So we'll have a quick nose around Simon's shed, and we see he has mesh fronts and very big, deep cages, so we can keep a reasonable amount of pigs in each cage. Plenty of food every day, lots of wet food, water on demand, and yeah, very traditional way of keeping the cavy, and it's a tried and tested method. This served Simon very well over the years, with good results in both the breeding pen and on the show bench. So if anyone's watching, you could do very little wrong by replicating Simon's husbandry methods and his breeding methods, really. And the breeds currently in the shed are the pink-eyed Self Golden, numerous colours of Abyssinian, and a nice stud of Peruvians, which is something I don't get to handle very often, only on the show bench usually. So it's nice to see the whole array of pigs, from youngster all the way up to show adults, and everything in between, really. And obviously I want to be completely nosy about what's going on in the golden breeding pens, because Simon's a very highly competitive golden breeder, quite often taking some very large classes. But I've also had a very newfound love for the Abyssinian, thanks to Andrew Sparks's judging seminar he did with me recently. We also have some Goldens being weaned off here, so you can see this being fed, which is lovely to see. The Peruvians are a new addition to Simon's shed, and he shows them in partnership with Amy Hill, and they seem to be having some really good results recently, and it's very odd to see Simon brushing out a Peruvian, which he assures me he's going to show me later, and that will be interesting to see. Simon's stud consists of around 100 cavies, varying ages, and it's quite a fluent mixture of all the breeds. As you let some go, as you breed some more, the numbers go up and down, so it's hard to put an exact figure on these things. I really like the spring clips that Simon uses. We use the same ones, and it makes it very easy to take the bottles off. Simon also travels all over the country judging cavies, so he's a panel judge for the National Cavy Club, the Abyssinian Cavy Club, the National Agouti Cavy Club, the National Tortoiseshell and White Cavy Club, the Peruvian Varieties Cavy Club, the English South Cavy Club, and the National Fox and Tan Cavy Club. And that's a lot of clubs to be responsible for judging their breeds for. And he's always well accepted, especially at breeder clubs and local clubs as well. So we get to see a few different cavies now within Simon's stud. This is one of his, only one of a few pink-eyed golden cresteds. He deliberately showed me this one because my daughter has recently taken up this breed, and she was fascinated by this particular one. It looks very nice. As mentioned, the real reason for this trip was a tutorial and some video footage of the Abyssinians and how to judge them and how to present them. So Simon was very patient with me, and we looked through lots of his abys, from the young ones to the old ones, the good ones and the breeding stock. And yeah, so we had a very good time, and I learnt quite a lot, but you'll see that in another video. But for now, we'll just appreciate this the self-bred, so Simon's setting up very nicely for us. Simon's got a wealth of knowledge on the abbeys, and it was great to share this time together and pick his brains and really get to grips with the breed. So yeah, thank you very much, Simon, for having me in the shed and teaching me all of this. It was much appreciated, and I'm sure if you see Simon at a show, he'd more than happily spend some time with you, teaching you these things. Simon's years of dedication and hard work have really paid off, and he's had some really spectacular wins, highlights being the Best in Show at the Real London Show and the Bradford Championship Show. He's also had plenty of runner-ups in these shows, and he's had numerous Best in Shows with all of the breeds that he's kept. Here's a picture of Simon and Steve Davis, the judge, at the Real London Show in 2018. And Simon won this show with Albertine, a pink-eyed golden sow. He was only under 5 at the time, which is very unusual to win with such a amazing quality. And in 2006, Simon also won Best in Show at the Bradford Championship Show, which is a big honour. And this was with his adult sow, pink-eyed golden Pam, whose image, this picture now, has been on many a photo in cavies. It's well loved. As mentioned, Simon's latest venture is his stud of Peruvians in conjunction with Amy Hill. They've been really hitting the shows and getting some fantastic results out there. As you see, these cavies look absolutely immaculate. And it's quite new for Simon having to present these. So it's a new skill that he's learned, and he's done exceptionally well. I wouldn't even be able to know where to begin. Judging them's the easy part, presenting them is much more difficult. And this cavie had a wealth of coat. And just seeing Simon handle it and seeing how calm the cavie was and getting to feel the texture and the density was amazing. And I was really taken by it. I'm sure at some point I'll do an in-depth video on how to wrap a long hair, but it definitely won't be me showing you. Simon seems to have this knack down really well, and he says he has to brush this out pretty much every day and re-wrap it, just to keep the coat free and flowing. And we wrap the coats to stop the cavie from chewing and to protect the coat for when you present it for show. And yeah, so here's a little snippet of the back wrap going in, and it's literally you fold the coat up into some paper and then tie it off with an elastic band. And Simon makes it look ever so easy, but I can assure you it's something that requires a lot of practice, and it does take a little bit of skill to know how to do this. And yeah, he make it look particularly easy. So yeah, well done, Simon, on showing us how to do that. Peruvian isn't born with such a long coat. It takes time and it grows. And so this is one of the youngsters, only a month or two old. And as you can see already, it's starting to get its chops in, and such a cute little bundle of fur. And as they get a little bit older, obviously the hair becomes much longer and starts taking shape and direction. The rosette on the rump starts to fan the coat out in the right directions, and yeah, it looks absolutely stunning. And here I get to see something that could potentially be on the show bench in the future, and yeah, he's definitely got a bit of quality in the Goldens. This house stands really well, and has got some great presence on the table. Really fit as well. I loved it. I'd just like to thank Simon Neesam for inviting me into his shed. It was a little bit impromptu doing this video, but hopefully you got a little insight into how he does things and why he's so successful. All the best, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.